Switzerland, a mountainous country located in Western Europe known primarily for its watches, chocolate, and the Alps, is a country that has topped the charts for quality of life, economic stability, and innovation for years. Lying in the heart of Europe, between Germany, France, Italy, Austria, and Liechtenstein, Switzerland is a unique country in many ways. The country's geography has played a significant role in shaping its economy. It is worth noting that it is an alpine country with more than 60% of its territory comprising mountains. This mountainous terrain makes farming difficult, but at the same time makes Switzerland a popular tourist destination for many people. The tourism industry contributes significantly to the national income, which is larger than that of, for example, Norway, the United Arab Emirates, or Singapore. The landscapes, culture, and high level of service attract tourists from all over the world. Switzerland, with a GDP of about $800 billion and a per capita GDP of more than $98,000, is one of the richest countries in the world. That is, there are 3 times as many dollars for each Swiss resident as, for example, the Spanish. It also has one of the highest quality of life in the world, which is evident in its stable healthcare system, excellent education system, and high levels of citizen life satisfaction. The country is also a major player on the international stage. Switzerland is home to numerous international organizations, such as the Red Cross, the World Health Organization (WHO), and the United Nations (UN). This neutral position that Switzerland maintains is why it is considered a center for diplomacy and conflict resolution in the world. The Swiss economy is based primarily on services such as banking, insurance, and tourism, but also on highly specialized industrial production, including pharmaceuticals, chemicals, and machinery. With a strong emphasis on innovation, Switzerland is also recognized as one of the leaders in research and development. Nevertheless, in this episode, we will focus on a lesser-known aspect of Switzerland, its poorest region. While the country is considered a symbol of wealth and prosperity, there are also areas within it that struggle with poverty and social inequality. We will be exploring these regions today in an attempt to understand how these inequalities came about and how they affect the lives of the people living in these areas. Jura is a small region located in the northwestern part of Switzerland, bordering France. It is a canton with an area of 839 square kilometers and a population of about 73,000. Jura includes mountainous, hilly, and lowland areas, and its main city is Delémont. Although Switzerland is one of the richest countries in the world, Jura ranks at the bottom in terms of GDP per capita among Swiss cantons, at around $55,000. Still, one has to consider that this is an impressive result. If Jura were a separate country, they would rank 15th in the world in 2022 ahead of countries such as Belgium, Canada, and Germany. The geography of the Jura is one of the factors influencing the standard of living in the region. Guangzhou consists of parts of the Jura Mountains in the south and the Jura Plateau in the north. The mountainous and hilly terrain hinders the development of agriculture, infrastructure, and transportation. In addition, the Jura is far from Switzerland's major economic centers, such as Zurich, Geneva, and Basel, making trade and access to labor markets difficult. Despite this, Switzerland has similar alignments, a major problem for the region. The economy of the Jura is based mainly on agriculture, industry, and services. In the past, the region was known for its watch production. It is here that many prestigious brands such as Tag Heuer, founded in 1860 by Edouard Heuer in Saint-Imier, canton of Jura, Breitling, founded in 1884 by Leon Breitling in Saint-Imier, canton of Jura. Today, the company is headquartered in Grenchen in the canton of Solothurn. However, globalization and increasing competition have caused many watch factories to close, leading to rising unemployment. Currently, the unemployment rate in Jura is around 5.5%, while the average for Switzerland as a whole is around 2%. Comparable unemployment rates can be seen in Portugal or Norway. It is also worth noting that the Gini coefficient for the Jura is about 0.31, which means that income inequality is greater than in the other cantons of Switzerland. One of the factors contributing to the lower standard of living in Jura is the restrictions on access to education and the lower level of professional qualifications of the population. Only about 20% of Jura's population has a university degree, while the average for Switzerland as a whole is 37%. The low quality of education and lack of specialized vocational schools make it difficult for Jura residents to compete in the job market. Another factor contributing to poverty in Jura is the poorly developed transportation infrastructure. It can be said to be practically non-existent. We discussed Switzerland's poorest region. the Jura. It is by far the poorest place in Switzerland. But there are two other regions that also struggle with lower levels of prosperity: Valais and Ticino. It takes a comparison of these three cantons in terms of economic, social, and geographic statistics to understand what contributes to their lower living standards. Valais is a mountainous canton located in the southwestern part of Switzerland, bordering France and Italy. It is the third largest canton in Switzerland, covering an area of 5,224 square kilometers. It is inhabited by about 346,000 people, twice the population of Alaska. Valais is famous for its picturesque landscapes, including the Matterhorn, one of the most iconic peaks in the Alps. Ticino is the southern canton of Switzerland, bordering Italy. It covers an area of 2,812 square kilometers and has a population of about 354,000. Ticino is the only canton of Switzerland where Italian is the official language. The region is known for its warm climate, picturesque valleys and lakes, as well as its extensive tourist network. The GDP per capita for Valais is about $57,000, and for Ticino it is $59,000, which ranks them next among Swiss cantons, just after the Jura. It is worth noting that the per capita GDP of these three regions is much lower than the average for Switzerland as a whole, at more than $80,000. Instead of them, we could insert Austria and the Netherlands, whose GDP per capita is at a similar level. Unemployment in Valais is around 4.5%, and in Ticino it is 4.2%. In both cases, this is higher than the average for Switzerland as a whole. However, these are similar rates to those in the United States. Both Valais and Ticino also have a higher Gini coefficient than the national average, indicating greater income inequality. As with the Jura, the geography of these regions affects their economies and living standards. Both Valais and Ticino are mountainous regions, making it difficult to develop agriculture infrastructure. All three cantons have diverse economies, but some common features can be noted. Jura is mainly based on agriculture, industry, and services, while Valais and Ticino are more balanced with more tourism. In Valais, agriculture, industry, and tourism are an important part of the economy, with an emphasis on wine production, animal husbandry, and hydropower. Ticino, on the other hand, is strongly linked to the service sector, especially financial, tourism, and trade. The level of education and professional qualifications is crucial to the region's competitiveness in the labor market. In the case of the Jura, only about 20% of the population has a university degree. For Valais, this figure is about 27%, and for Ticino it is 32%. Compared to the average for Switzerland as a whole, which is 37%, all three cantons have lower levels of education. Infrastructure and the availability of services affect the quality of life and economic development of the regions. In the case of the Jura, underdeveloped transportation infrastructure makes it difficult to communicate with other parts of the country. Similarly, in Valais and Ticino, mountainous terrain hinders the development of infrastructure, especially road and rail. As a result, residents of these regions have limited access to services such as healthcare, education, and public transportation. The Swiss federal government has a policy of redistributing funds among the cantons in order to equalize differences in living standards and ensure equality of opportunity. This assistance is provided in the form of grants. Jura, Valais, and Ticino need further investment to stimulate economic development and improve the quality of life of their residents. Federal and regional authorities can employ various strategies such as investing in transportation infrastructure to facilitate communication between regions and with Switzerland's major economic centers, supporting the education sector through the development of higher and vocational education, which will help increase residents' skills and competitiveness in the labor market, promoting innovation and supporting entrepreneurship to create new jobs and increase regional competitiveness, supporting tourism and the service sector, particularly in Valais and Ticino, which can increase incomes and improve the quality of life of residents. Work with neighboring countries such as France and Italy to develop joint projects and investments that will contribute to economic growth and employment. Jura, Valais, and Ticino are the three poorest cantons in Switzerland, with lower GDP per capita, higher unemployment, and lower education levels compared to the rest of the country. All three regions face geographic challenges that hinder infrastructure, agricultural, and economic development. They are also affected by the structure of the economy, the educational level of residents, and the availability of services. In order to improve the quality of life for the residents of these regions, further investment is needed in the development of infrastructure, education, innovation, and tourism. Cooperation at the federal and regional levels and with neighboring countries can contribute to the sustainable development of these regions and their integration with the rest of Switzerland. In the future, it will be important to monitor the situation in the three cantons and analyze the effects of implemented development strategies. In this way, it will be possible to introduce appropriate measures to improve the quality of life of the population and strengthen the position of Jura, Valais, and Ticino on the Swiss economic map. As I mentioned earlier, geography plays a key role in shaping the economies of the Jura, Valais, and Ticino. The mountainous terrain makes it difficult to develop agriculture, transportation infrastructure, and other economic sectors. In the Jura, underdeveloped soils and a harsh climate result in limited agricultural production, which contributes to a lower standard of living for residents. In Valais and Ticino, the mountainous landscape hinders the development of infrastructure, especially roads and railroads, leading to the isolation of these regions and limited access to services. Jura, Valais, and Ticino have diverse economies, but some common features can be observed. All three regions are dominated by agricultural, industrial, and service sectors. In the case of the Jura, the agricultural and industrial sectors are less important than in the rest of the country, which may affect the lower standard of living of the residents. Valais and Ticino are more balanced, with a larger share of tourism and the service sector, but still struggle with high unemployment. The low levels of education and professional qualifications of residents in the Jura, Valais, and Ticino affect their competitiveness in the labor market and their career opportunities. As mentioned earlier, all three cantons have lower rates of people with higher education than the average for Switzerland as a whole, which can affect access to quality jobs. That would be it for today. Thanks for your attention, and we'll hear from you in the next material. Bye.